Hi everyone, it's Chris, and I had a bit of a different video for you where it's going to be in two parts, and I wanted to discuss a couple of predictions, radical predictions. They're not really predictions because you can't predict complexity, they're more dispositional projections. What I mean by that is it's likely to happen, but we can't be sure because there are too many variables, right? It's a complex situation. And I talk quite a lot. I'm sure a lot of you now know I talk a lot about, innovation, disruption, market life cycles, strategic execution, decision making for leadership, management, theories, and complexity, and loads of other things. Right? They're all heavily integrated, and this is kind of part of that as well. But it's something I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. So here's the first one. Right? Apple is in a lot of trouble. Big prediction, big assumption, right? Not as in they're going to completely collapse, but I think they're about to lose a lot of relevancy. And this comes off the idea of dominant apex predator theory and orthodoxy tipping and changing, right? So Microsoft had this experience with Apple. Actually, Apple kind of superseded them. I think this is going to happen to Apple as well. Who supersedes them is another thing. Why do I think that? Well, let's have a look at what Apple are, right? Apple are best known. If you think of Apple and you think of technology, chances are you're going to think of smartphones these days before most other things, right? Apple are ubiquitous with smartphones. iPhones are ubiquitous with smartphones. So what's their market dominance then? Well, iOS devices hold about 23% of the market, give or take. Android holds 70-something, 72, 73%. Okay. What about devices though, right? Surely they must be high up there as well. Samsung are the biggest makers of smartphones. Huawei are next. Apple is about 11%. Okay, so it's not quite what you think. They are no longer novel items. They're no longer the level of brand enhancement that they were. They no longer disrupt the entire market. There's a lack of fuss about them. Everyone has one. So, having one to differentiate yourself for personal brand identity, everyone's got one, right? How do you differentiate when that happens? So, and I could talk about Hawthorne effect and loads of other things. It's in a lot of my articles, so go and read them or look at some of my other videos. So what's going to come in, right? What's going to come in instead? Well, Internet of Things is a big thing, right? And Apple aren't going to integrate with this particularly well as they are because Apple doesn't integrate with a lot of other stuff, right? And that's a prerequisite for being part of Internet of Things. What about something slightly different? Internet of Us. So a friend of mine, Jowan, he is the CEO of Biohax, which is implantable technology, which will integrate us with Internet of Things, right? This is something that's starting to take off quite a lot in Sweden. Go and have a look at that. It's really cool stuff. Right, so what about being out of touch with millennials and their needs and what they precisely want now, right? People have different values now. It's not just about cost. It's not just about convenience. It's not just about brand. It's also about ethics. It's also about presentation. It's also about humanity and care. Now, what's interesting is Apple have made headway here in one way in terms of ethics because they've refused to share private data with the US government. So there's a very large chance that Apple are going to be in some trouble, and in the next video I'm going to talk about why, along with this mystery second one. See if you can guess who it's going to be. I'll be impressed if anyone gets it. If you've got any ideas on this, you want to add, you want to comment, you want to discuss it or argue it or agree or whatever, please put something in the comments below. Let's chat about it. But until the next video, take care out there.